Welcome back. We are going to complete the square. So hopefully you have written these steps down that I told you to in the slide before this. And then we will get started. So we actually will, trying to decide which way I want to do it. I should already have this planned out. It's fine. Let's go ahead and do number 5. We will go back to 4. So please note, I am not skipping it. I am just going back to it in a moment. We can use completing the square to go from standard form. So notice that's in standard form to vertex form. Okay, so our end goal, I'll put it over here. Our end goal is to have something that looks, oops, that should be a plus sign. Sorry, my iPad's in a weird case, so it's not flat. Okay, so our end goal is to get it to look like that, where H and K is the vertex. And one of the ways that we can do that is completing the square. So following our steps, we do have where A is not 1. So instead of f of x, I'm going to put y. My step 1 is to move this plus 1 over, or sorry, that minus 1 to move it over. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. And so then I have 2x squared plus 4x over here, and that's it. Okay. And then notice that A, that number out front, is not 1, it's 2. So I need to factor that out. So here's what I mean by that. I'm going to factor out 2, which is going to leave me with x squared plus 2x. I'm also going to add something there. And then on this side, whatever I add to one side, I must also add to the other. Hopefully that'll be enough room. And when you're like, okay, so what do I add to both sides? You add b over 2 squared. So here's what that means. This is b, the middle term there. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So I am adding 1 to that side. Now the way equations work, if I add 1 to one side, I must also add it to the other. This, however, is tricky. We're already jumping to like level 2/level 3 problems here in our notes because I'm not just adding 1, I'm actually adding 2 times 1 to both sides. Okay, so you know what? I'm actually going to back up and make this 2 separate steps. So I'm going to say plus 2 over 2 quantity squared so that you know where this comes from. And so on this side, I'm actually going to multiply by 2 times 2 over 2 quantity squared. Okay, so on this side, I have x squared plus 2x plus 1 in parentheses. Again, that's just what I had originally that I didn't erase. And then on this side, I now have 2 times 2 over 2 squared, which is 2. Okay, so I'm almost there. I know it doesn't look like it, but I promise I am. Okay, how does this factor? So what 2 numbers multiply to get 1, but add to get 2? Well, that's 1 and 1. It should always be the same number twice, because then I can rewrite it as x plus 1. It's really x plus 1 times x plus 1, but instead of writing that, I'm going to say squared. I'm going to bring down that 2. And then here I have y plus 3. So remember your end goal, looking down there in the corner. I need y by itself, and I've got it. So to get y by itself, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Okay. So now, because I have this, I am able to tell some things about this equation. When it is in this form, I can say, hey, the vertex is -1, -3. And I know that because it went left 1 and down 3. Okay. I know, oh, there's some stuff down here that I can fill out so I don't have to write that again. Okay. The y-intercept The y-intercept is always easiest when looking at standard form. So going back and looking at this right here, plug in 0. What is 2 times 0 squared plus 4 times 0? Oh, that's 0. And then minus 1 is negative 1. Oh, I need my pen back. And then the hardest thing, the x-intercepts, which are where it crosses the x-axis, but we talked about in the last video, we have to do quadratic formula. I know you're excited. We're so excited. I'm going to use this Galaxy pen. Maybe that'll make it more exciting for you. So x equals negative b. Going back up here, that's negative 4 plus or minus square root. I will zoom in once I finish looking at the equation. B squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Take a second. Try to do it yourself. Double check that you got it right. All of those things. How's it going? All right. Now let's simplify it. The first thing we're going to do is simplify that number inside. So 4 squared is 16. 4 times 2 times negative 1. That makes that 16 plus 8, which is 24. And then over 4. And then we're going to simplify that radical. So square root of 24 is the same thing as 4 times 6. Well, the square root of 4 is 2, so that can go out of the radical because I took the square root. And then I can reduce the fractions here. So negative 4, 2, and 4 are all divisible by 2. So that becomes negative 2 plus or minus square root of 6. I said 6, wrote 2. That's not good. Here we go. It is 6 all over 2. That's where the 2 went. Okay. So these are my roots. Now that is not very helpful whenever I'm trying to graph because I don't know about you, but I do not know where negative 2 plus square root of 6 over 2 is on the x-axis. I also don't know where negative 2 minus square root of 6 over 2 is on the x-axis. But what I do know is that I can open Desmos and I can do negative 2 plus square root of 6 divided by 2. And I see that that is 0.225. Okay. I can also do that same thing except minus. So negative 2 minus square root of 6. Divided by 2. And negative 2.22. Those are the decimals. I'm like, oh, okay, I can plot those on a graph. So these are approximately negative 2.225, 0.225. I always get the question, where do I round? I don't care. Unless it actually specifies where to round, I don't care. Since we're looking at a graph, it's really not helpful to go any more than a tenth. So negative 2.2 and then 0.2 is more than enough for my x-intercepts. But now I have a lot of information that I can plot. So negative 1, negative 3, 0, negative 1, 0.2, which would be like right there. It's almost a fourth. Negative 2.2, which would be like right there. If I connect those dots, I indeed get a parabola that opens upwards, which you should have been thinking from the beginning. Oh, that's a positive 2x squared. So yes, it would be pointed upwards. Okay, so that's how you would complete the square. That's also practice with the quadratic formula. Take a break, big breath, and then join me in the next video to go back to example 4.